You know what's older than space besides Keith Richards? It's gotta be the space rock group Hawkwind. These guys have been around since 1968 and have seen a fair few lineup changes over their time. In fact, it's enough to make Santana blush. Hawkwind may best be remembered as the band that Lemmy was in before he started Motorhead, which is a shame given that they have such a rich history and have worked with a lot of amazing musicians from Ginger Baker to Eric Clapton and many more names that I just can't simply list without going over them like 5 minutes. The Future Never Waits is their 35th album, which is insane considering their 55-year career. That's a new album every 1.5 years on average, and the band haven't slowed down. In fact, I nearly missed this album because their Wikipedia page has been a bit lacking and needs to be updated for their last 3 releases. So how does their music sound for a band that's been around for this long? Well, needless to say, they are the true pioneers of their space rock adventures, with songs that build up on their atmosphere while brooding over familiar droning guitar riffs that seem to go on for an eternity. It's like they invented drone metal decades before it was even considered, honing their craft in a more dreamy realm. The track I'm Learning to Live Today shows off their knack for looping a riff and building the synth sections before eventually a slow and drawn out guitar solo plays out. It's very encompassing and similar in vein to their older style of works, especially with the guitar sections. What I found most interesting was that the first few tracks, especially the opener title track, The Future Never Waits, or They Are So Easily Distracted, are a new sound I've not particularly heard from Hawkwind. Maybe it's a visionary twist to play up a bit of a modern sound, perhaps in a vein to Flower Kings or Marillion to a small degree, but yet they still retain their signature style, space rock operas with guitars as vocals wane in and out in volume when they appear, as the vocals are fairly sparse throughout the album's runtime, which is at 68 minutes by the way. In fact, the first time I played this album was late at night and it ended up being used as a bit of white noise to help me sleep. It achieved that goal very well. In a more lucid state, I understand the music more and can see that this is a band trying out a new style. I must stress though, if you are a mega fan of the band, you might be saying they tried this already on such and such a record, and you might be right. I certainly don't have the time to play through 34 other albums to reflect upon this one. I am just reflecting on the dozen or so that I have played, which seems to be mostly from their 70s era. The music is vivid and you can certainly immerse yourself in it for the duration of this record. I want to point out a quick quirk right here, which is that this is a band that was spawned from the late 60s and only has one original member, being the guitarist and vocalist Dave Brock, and they're still releasing music in 2023. Also, another prog rock group from the 60s with one long-term member has also released a new album just recently, and that band is Yes. I just found that rather intriguing considering that these aged musicians are still writing and releasing music to this day. There is no slowing these guys down. When the band get down to basics, they do it well, and in particular on their second half of this album. Hell, they've even had 5 decades and 34 records to perfect their craft, so it should be no surprise they have followed it. As for their newer style, well, it's not too bad, if not certainly a curious path they have chosen. I wouldn't say it subtracts from the experience in the least, in fact it perhaps adds to it. Overall, I would score this album at 4 million chilies on the spicy scale, with my favourite tracks being They Are So Easily Distracted, Outside of Time, and Trapped in This Modern Age. Points to Hawkwind for not giving up the ghost when they perhaps should have, but who am I to say when a band should quit? If you feel up to it, then write your music. I may not enjoy it all, but this album certainly did have its moments, so that must be noted. Thank you for checking out this episode of 5 Minute Reviews. Subscribe to the channel if you like music related content, and as always people, you have a great day and stay spicy. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Live Listen Erased, and if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with all your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our Chili Con Carnage crew so you can get notified for all the future videos that we put out, as we put out videos every Friday. Also, we are on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter over at Live Listen Erased, so make sure to tune in over there. And don't forget to like this video so that our manager can stay very happy.